Hey, what's up guys? I wanted to do a quick comparison video between the Galaxy S10 and the newly released Galaxy S20. And right off the bat, you can kind of see the differences in the back side of the phone. Whereas you have a horizontal camera array on the S10, you have a vertical on the S20. Now coming around the front of the S20, you'll notice that we have a selfie camera right in the middle on the top of the screen. And on the S10, you had one on the top right of the screen. You can see it right there. That's one of the major differences, along with the fact that the S20 has a less curved screen. And that kind of adds to the thinness of the phone. It kind of helps kind of make it better to hold, nicer. It's more of a seamless kind of transition between the screen and the metal. So it's nice to see that Samsung's kind of walking away from the curved screens because they were getting kind of annoying. The other things you'll notice is that the buttons on the S20 are solely on the right side. So you have the volume rocker on the top and the power button on the bottom right here. And the power button does double as a Bixby button, but good news, you can hold it down and you can actually program it so that you can change it to a power menu instead of Bixby popping up. On the S10 you had the Bixby button on the left right here, and then you had the volume rocker on the left as well, and then the power button on the right. So that's one other major difference. Finally, Samsung did it. No more headphone jack on the S20. You could see that the S10 prominently had one there. And that, obviously helped slim down the phone a little bit. So even though the phone is taller by just a little bit, it is nicer and easier to hold, in my opinion. So that helps. Also, the interesting thing that Samsung did, almost kind of like an Apple move there, they changed the input on the power brick to a USB-C. So the cables that I have for my S10 that are a regular USB cable at one end and USB-C on the other end will not work if I want to use the fast charger that's included with the S20. And here is what the phone ships with. This is the power brick. So you'll see here it's USB-C, and then at the end of the phone it's also USB-C. So you'll kind of have to stock up on some USB-C to USB-C cables. Alternatively, you can just use the old charger from the S10 or S9. The fast chargers still work fine, so you'll basically just plug those into the power outlet and then plug your phone in normally. Now, I'm usually a fan of Samsung's design, but I do think that in the case of the S20, it's getting a little bit old and kind of plain looking. One thing is, I think that Samsung could have offered better colors. We get the gray, a light blue, and I think a light pink. Those are the color options that we have for the S20. We don't get the pearlescent. I really like this white pearlescent effect that they had, but I think that's available only on the S20 Plus, which for me it's too big of a phone. So Samsung, kind of offering a better range of colors would be great. But they are going the right way as far as decreasing the curved screen. That's always good. I think that non-curved screen phones feel better. This curved screen doesn't really add any functionality to the phone itself. So that's one thing that's really good. And some people have pointed out that the Galaxy S20, the design kind of reminds them of the mid-range A series that Samsung puts out. And it's true. I don't think a flagship should resemble mid-range phones for what you're paying and stuff. I think that the design needs to have a little bit of a more unique design language. So here's to hoping that the S21 or whatever Samsung calls it looks a little bit different. Now internally, obviously we all know that the S20 is going to have a faster chipset than the S10. It's got more RAM, more memory, so apps are going to perform much better. So that's a given. One UI is a lot more polished in the S20, and I'm not really sure if that's going to be a software update to the S10, but you can kind of see, just as an example, if I open the phone app here, you can just kind of see in the animations themselves that it's a little bit of a nicer transition there. Obviously, you can also notice, I'm not really sure on this video, but the 120 hertz screen it really does make a difference in the experience on the phone, and it's something that I highly recommend. That if y'all can't see it from this video, go to a Best Buy or any other electronic shop where they have this phone, your phone retailer, and try it out and see how you like the screen, because this thing needs to be experienced. I mean, just transitions in and out of apps, and all that kind of stuff. And if you thought that the screen quality could not have been improved, I mean, Samsung keeps kind of proving that it is the master of screens. They did end up improving the quality on the S10. I think that the colors look just a little bit better. Text is just a little bit sharper. And overall, the quality of the screen and the images on the screen are much better. Another thing to note, which was a very annoying thing on the Galaxy S10, is when you would launch Snapchat, you would hear a clicking noise. I don't know if you heard that on the video, but you would hear it repeatedly, and you'd hear the same thing on Instagram and all that. And thank God on the S20, that noise is no longer an issue. So that, and then also they figured out how to integrate Instagram better with the phone, whereas we had some issues with the S10, probably most likely a software issue, where it didn't quite use the camera to its full potential on Instagram. I'm quite confident that when I launch Instagram and I add something to my story, it's a lot better quality, and it's actually using the phone's camera capabilities rather than cropping or whatnot that it was doing on the S10. The haptic feedback on the S10 have been vastly improved. I always thought that the S10 kind of had really weird haptic feedback where it would be a really loud, kind of violent vibration, whereas the S10 is now kind of like a muted, kind of like a smooth kind of vibration. So all this thing adds up to be a phone with a better finish, and just seems like a better quality device than the S10. Now, obviously that is part of the progression of technology, but also I think that Samsung kind of realized that some of the things needed to be polished and tightened up from the S10. So overall, I do think that the Galaxy S20 is a worthy upgrade over the Galaxy S10. It's got enough improvements in it to basically make you want to upgrade. That 120 hertz screen is a killer. The One UI improvements, the overall kind of polish of the phone just seems to make it worth it. Especially given Samsung's upgrade offers and trade-in programs for the S10 to the S20. I'm not sure as of this posting if that's still valid, but you could trade in your S10, get $600 towards the S20, which I think is a great deal, and it's definitely worth the upgrade. But yeah, I mean, overall, great phone, great upgrade. I will miss my S10. Took a lot of photos with this, did a lot of things, but now it's time for the S20. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.